Good morning. My name is William Watkins, Vice President for Student Affairs and Dean of Students, and it's my honor to declare the opening of the California State University Northridge commencement ceremony for the Michael D. Eisner College of Education and the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. I ask that you all now please rise and remain standing while the CSUN Jazz A Band, under the direction of Professor Michael Mull, plays the national anthem, accompanied by Christy Joga.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets burning, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you. Please be seated. How about another cheer for Christy and our signers? Celebrating this occasion with us this morning and seated on the platform are members of the President's extended cabinet. Also, for the Michael D. Eisner College of Education, we have Dean Michael E. Spagna, Associate Dean Christine Hayashi, and Department Chairs Flavia Flesher, Dev Studies, Jody Dunlap, Educational Leadership and Policy Studies, Shari Tarver-Buring, Educational Psychology and Counseling, Joyce Burstein, Elementary Education, Julie Gainsberg, Secondary Education, and Kathy Peckham-Harden from Special Education. And from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, we have Dean Stella Theodoulou, Associate Dean Matthew Kahn, and Department Chairs Teresa White from Africana Studies, Sabina Magliocco from Anthropology, Vicki Jensen from Criminology and Justice Studies, Ed Jackowitz from Geography, Susan Fitzpatrick Behrens from History, Larry Becker from Political Science, Jill Quillisi from Psychology, Eli Bartel for Social Work, Karen Morgaine from Sociologies, and Rob Kent from Urban Studies and Planning. In addition, we have with us today CSU trustee Stephen Stepanek, faculty president Adam Swenson, your Associated Students president Zivag Alexanian, and alumnus Brent Vallant, joining us as special guests on the platform today. Will all the members of the platform party please rise and receive recognition? Thank you. And now it's my privilege to present to you our president, Dr. Diane Harrison.
Thank you, Vice President Watkins, and my thanks also to Professor Michael Mull, the Jazz A Band, Krista Yoga, and graduates from the Department of Deaf Studies for that beautiful performance of our national anthem. Thank you. Good morning. As president of this university, it is my distinct honor to welcome you to the 2017 California State University Northridge commencement ceremony for the 2016 and 17 graduates of the Michael D. Eisner College of Education and the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences. On behalf of our faculty and staff, I congratulate the graduates being honored here today. As I stood on the steps of the Oviatt just 1 year ago, it seems as if we lived in a different world. While the landscape of our country has shifted, each of you has demonstrated perseverance to achieve your goals. By persevering, you have seen what you are capable of, but it is only the beginning. Your ability to persevere and the self-confidence that it instills will help you achieve your dreams and make a difference in the world. To promote positive change on issues of importance to you, use the skills you've learned at CSUN, whether those skills are in critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, or empathy and compassion, including appreciating and respecting each other's views and advocating for social justice. And remember, you graduate with the advantage of a CSUN education. Last month, we honored 3 of our alumni at our Distinguished Alumni Awards ceremony, which we do every year. These 3 alumni serve as powerful examples of the value of a CSUN degree and the impact it can have across diverse industries and sectors, shaping the region, shaping California, the nation, and even beyond. One of our trailblazers is a pioneer in reality TV. He brought us American Idol, among many other programs. One is an influential financial wizard on Wall Street, and the 3rd distinguished alumni this year is a woman who used to work in the oil industry and now works for the aerospace industry and claims space, outer space, as her territory. These are just a couple of examples of the literally thousands that show the many paths and doors of opportunity available to you with a CSUN education. You have the knowledge and the ability to succeed, and some of you may also choose to forge completely new paths in territories, disciplines, and industries that we haven't even imagined yet or explored. CSUN graduates touch every sector, every industry, every field, and have made a significant mark on the world, and each of you has that same potential. But regardless of your path, as you move on to new opportunities, please promote inclusivity in your communities, as you did at CSUN. Stand against discrimination, and value and respect diversity and the common humanity shared by us all. Protect our environment and natural resources. Appreciate science and discovery. Continue to use the knowledge gained here to support tolerance and strive to understand others' views. Our shared future depends on this. And your education at CSUN has equipped you to do these tasks. Allow me now to thank our faculty and staff who are here today to share in the pride of your achievements. Our faculty and staff have played a significant role in supporting your success both in and out of the classroom and their efforts to advance student excellence, our understanding of the world through groundbreaking research, and the university's mission make them the heart of our university. Thank you to our faculty and staff. Much of your experience at CSUN was actually shaped by the generosity of those who came before you, by alumni who have supported scholarships, enhanced programs, and improved the facilities in which you learned every day. This year, it was gratifying to see more than 6,000 of our graduating seniors follow their example by contributing to the senior class gift, and we thank you. And finally, I want to acknowledge the incredible contributions of your families and friends, many of whom are here today to join in this celebration. To the parents, brothers, sisters, families, friends, and loved ones, the university community and I thank you for entrusting the minds and the futures of your CSUN graduates to us. We are privileged to have them as part of our CSUN family. Our graduates could not have succeeded without your guidance, your love, your sacrifice, and your encouragement. And we are proud to salute you this morning and ask that you now stand for a well-deserved round of applause. Families and supporters, please stand and let us recognize you. Thank you. The Michael D. Eisner College of Education and the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences would like to give special recognition to those students who have demonstrated outstanding scholarship while at the university. These students may be identified by the honors medallions, cords, and sashes that they are wearing. Will those students who are graduating with academic honors please rise and receive our applause? Thank you, and please be seated. I would also like to recognize our baccalaureate students who have successfully completed their degree in 4 years, starting as freshmen, or 2 years after transferring to CSUN. These are our Matador Rising Scholars, and we are proud of your efforts and commend you on this achievement. Will our Matador Rising Scholar students please rise and receive our applause? Thank you, and please be seated. And I want to remind all of us that every single one of our graduates here today, whether you are an honors student, a Matador Rising Scholar, those who graduated are graduating regardless of how long it took you, and regardless of your GPA, the fact that you are here today marks a milestone. You made it, and it's a life-altering milestone for you and your family. So we're very proud of you, your families are very proud of you, and you should be proud of yourself. Congratulations. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Michael Spagna, Dean for the Michael D. Eisner College of Education, and Dr. Stella Theodoulou, Dean of the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, to the podium to highlight 3 students who are deserving of additional recognition and who serve as examples of the excellence and the extraordinary achievement that can be found among CSUN's accomplished student body.
Thank you, Dr. Harrison. Good morning. It is my great pleasure to present to you today 2 extraordinary students who deserve additional recognition from the Michael D. Eisner College of Education. Students, please rise when I call your name and stay standing while I speak briefly about your accomplishments. Paige Brewer, please rise. Ms. Paige Brewer is being honored here today because of her extraordinary performance as a credential and graduate student during her tenure here at CSU Northridge. Paige completed the clear credential in her master's degree in mild-moderate disabilities with an outstanding GPA of 3.99, all while working full-time as a special education teacher at Rosemont Middle School in Glendale. In her quest to discover a career, Paige transitioned into teaching through a counselor position at a preschool near her home. In this job, she encountered a young boy who wasn't using his capacity for speech, but clearly had the desire to be heard and understood. Instead of forcing language upon him, she worked to understand his unique mannerisms and communication style, and through this process developed a safe environment where he could attempt words without the fear of failure. This experience convinced her that special education was her calling. After leaving the preschool, Paige assumed a job as a special education teacher at Rosemont Middle School, where she has been since 2012. Paige's passion for teaching is inspiring. She displays a steadfast commitment to ensuring that the students she supports are consistently challenged to grow, thrive, and excel both academically and emotionally. Paige continues to receive acknowledgement for her leadership efforts at Rosemont. In 2015, Paige received the Teacher Leadership Award, and in 2017, she received the Masonic Award. She has consistently been selected as the Employee of the Month and was recently selected want to make sure, Paige, we don't miss any important accomplishments here. Selected as a member of the Superintendent's Think Tank team for the Glendale Unified School District. Please offer your congratulations to Paige. Congratulations. Now it is my honor to present to you Faith Escher. Please rise. Faith. Faith Escher was born in Vallejo, California, and was raised by her parents, one a pastor and one a teacher, who imparted the understanding that education is the best way to equip oneself and empower others. Faith also had wonderful experiences as a volunteer in South Africa, Hawaii, and New Zealand, where her love for language and culture took root and grew strong. Stemming from these experiences, Faith decided she wanted to become a teacher. She was first exposed to American Sign Language and deaf culture at community college. These courses led her to pursue her major in deaf studies at CSUN. While maintaining a 4.0 GPA, Faith took on several leadership roles with the Deaf Studies Association, first as an at-large liaison and then as the treasurer. Through this organization, she was very involved with planning and promoting and carrying out events such as the Social Justice Conference and Deaf Studies Retreat. For our two graduates today, we're getting special flybys, so I hope you appreciate that. For classmates and community members, she also volunteered with Los Angeles Deaf Festival and maintained her employment with both the American Sign Language Lab and the Oviatt Library. Her journey led to her to gain a deeper understanding of her privileges with a focus on the disparities and gaps in our education system. As a future educator, Faith's goal is to tear down structures of oppression and replace them with equitable and transformative spaces for learning by welcoming the experiences of her students into the classroom. We can expect great things to come from Faith Escher as she continues on her journey. Congratulations, Faith.
Thank you, Dean Spagner. It is now my honor, on behalf of the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences, to present an outstanding student. Please rise when I call your name and stay standing while I speak about your accomplishments. Isabel Lopez. Isabel is a psychology honors student who has completed her degree in 3.5 years with an almost perfect GPA of 3.97. She joined 2 research labs to fully prepare herself for doctoral studies. She has also volunteered over 50 hours at the community-based organization MEND, helping adolescents who live in poverty prepare for colleges and universities. Needless to say, Isabel is a highly motivated student. In her work with Professors Gabby Chavira and Abe Brutchik, Isabel was involved in several major research projects. One project, Mentoring Matters, examined the mentor-mentee relationship for students pursuing science and math degrees. Isabel joined the lab after the project had already begun, yet she quickly caught up and eventually became one of the most productive members of the research team. actively and successfully recruiting new faculty and students to join and participate in the study. She continued to excel in her work and other research studies, focused on Latino youth, parental involvement with their children's education, and how to best prepare students who are first in their families to attend college for a successful university experience. With these research projects, Isabel assisted the facilitation of Spanish language workshops for parents, and she was also instrumental in conveying the importance of engaging with students among college faculty and staff, working on other projects who support student success. The common denominator in all of these studies is a commitment to improving academic success for first-generation students, an issue that Isabel is clearly passionate about, given her research accomplishments. Isabel is a phenomenal emerging scholar. She is joining CSUN's clinical psychology master's program in the fall, and she plans to obtain a PhD in clinical psychology and ultimately work in private practice. Please join me in congratulating Isabel.
Congratulations to those students. It is now my pleasure to bring Dean Spagna back to the podium, who will present the candidates for the doctoral degree.
Will all the candidates for the doctorate please rise? President Harrison, from the Michael D. Eisner College of Education, I present the candidates for Doctor of Education. These candidates have completed the requirements for the doctoral degree as prescribed by the state of California and the trustees of the California State University, and they have been recommended by the faculty of California State University, Northridge. Please continue standing as President Harrison confers the doctoral degree upon you.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Doctor of Education with all of the rights, the honors, and the responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations. And please be seated. And now our provost, Dr. E. Lee, will present the candidates for the master's degree.
Thank you, President Harrison. Will all candidates for the master's degree please rise? President Harrison, from the Michael D. Eisner College of Education, I present the candidates for Master of Arts in Education, Master of Arts in Educational Administration, Master of Arts in Special Education, and the Master of Science in Counseling. And from the College of Social and Behavioral Science, I present the candidates for Master of Arts in Anthropology, Master of Arts in Geography, Master of Arts in Psychology, and Master of Arts in Applied Behavioral Analysis. This candidate has completed the requirement for the master's degree as prescribed by the state of California and the trustees of California State University. And they have been recommended by the faculty of California State University, Northridge. Candidates, please continue standing as President Harrison confirms the degrees upon you.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of the California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees, I now confer upon you the degree of Master of Arts in Anthropology, Master of Arts in Education, Master of Arts in Educational Administration, Master of Arts in Geography, Master of Arts in Psychology, Master of Arts in Special Education, Master of Science in Counseling, and Master of Arts in Applied Behavior Analysis, with all of the rights, the honors, and the responsibilities pertaining thereto. Congratulations to our master's degree holders now. And please be seated. At this time, I will ask Dean Spagna and Dean Theodoulou to return to present their candidates for the baccalaureate degree.
There is one discipline represented by the graduates from the Michael D. Eisner College of Education today. It is the Department of Deaf Studies.
And there are 3 disciplines represented by the graduates from the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences today. They are from the Departments of Anthropology, Geography, and Psychology. Will all the candidates for the baccalaureate degree please rise and remain standing? President Harrison, I have the honor. That's all of you. President Harrison, I have the honor of presenting to you the undergraduate class of 2017.
These candidates have completed the requirements for the baccalaureate degree as prescribed by the state of California and the trustees of California State University, and they have been recommended for their degrees by the faculty of California State University, Northridge.
Upon the recommendation of the faculty of California State University, Northridge, and by the authority vested in me by our Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the degree of Bachelor of Arts in Anthropology, Bachelor of Arts in Deaf Studies, Bachelor of Arts in Geography, Bachelor of Arts in Psychology, with all of the rights, the honors, and the opportunities pertaining thereto. Please be seated.
Members of the platform party and the department chairs will now offer congratulations to our degree recipients. I ask that the degree recipients please move to the platform as directed by the marshals. Please come forward as your name is read. You will be congratulated by a member of the platform party and receive your diploma, cover, and certificate. Afterwards, please return to your seats as directed by the marshals, commencement staff, and others.
We ask that guests please help so that we may proceed in an orderly manner. We remind you that the aisles must be kept open and you are asked to stay in your seats until the end of the ceremony. Out of respect for our graduates and the safety of our guests, noisemakers are not permitted. Finally, and again, out of respect for your fellow graduates, all graduates will remain throughout the entire ceremony until all degree recipients have been recognized. Thank you.
Now reading the names for the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences from the Department of Anthropology. Josie Pelicano, Vivian Steindahl, Erica Nicolay, Julie Strom, Crystal Kissinger, Sudabe Fahihi, Yasemin Javadade, Diana Ochoa Diaz, Fabiola Bagna, Leona Felder, Yoselin Medell. Maria Fernanda Aspero Sanchez. Avicelli Solis. Emily Christensen. Amanda Crook. Zuliama Telez. Nare Mosesian. Yasamin Eskandani. Jessica Rivas. Lanita Huey. Diana Gomez. Zachary Boer. Jeffrey Yoga. Pedro Gonzalez. Alejandro Galavan. Dorian Miller. Faye Blue. Ashley Kauser-Abadi. Jennifer Martinez. Pamela Gutierrez. Kaylee Alvarez. Brian Garcia. Antea Kasler. Sabrina Stainbridge. Rogelio Rodriguez. Abby Urias. Isamar Morales. Max Elias Hernandez. Christina Chow. Elizabeth Hudson. Sonia Rosales. Finuza Umir. Jasmine Garcia. Coral Armour. Now reading the names for the College of Social and Behavioral Science from the Department of Geography. Gregory Halverson. Michael Sterre. Brian Lasota. Douglas Smith. Sierra Alvarez. Chen Chen. Tenzing Bhutia. Grace Batris. Rex Coggins. Thomas St. George. Luis Farfan. Jamil Sinias. Oscar Martinez. Renee Torres. Antonio Heredia III. Henry Hong. Rafael Lorenzo. Jerem Murungheta. Sean Aris. Hector Torres. Harrison Wong. Jerry Lee. Kevin Ryan.
Jose Cifuentes. Arlie Chavez. Daniel Priest. Carolina Carlos. Jose Humberto Reyes Jr. Joshua Browdy. Anna Farley. Nicoletta Stork. Stephanie Wolf. Valeria Shilova. Elise Eberhard. Brittany Rizada. Now reading names for the College of Social and Behavioral Sciences from the Department of Psychology. Jeanette Natalie Menendez. Aaron Johnson. Tanya Noguera. Melissa Michelle Uria. Jenna Sullins. Niari Markarian. Elizabeth McCroyan. Grace Kim. Michelle Villegas. Natalie Rodriguez Palomares. Ghazal Azad. Brittany Harrington. Nicole Urenda. Jennifer Meyer. Devin Walker. Ma Carmina Demano. Edgar Prosto. Yesenia Cortez. Kayla Bro. Jakuda Menra Puta. Zaira Cordova. Brajan Gayami. Andrea Nicole Sanchez. Crystal Jasmine Mercado.
Say your first name.
Zulema Para Jimenez. Eileen Jocelyn Urate. Desiree Rios. John Paul Shore. Cynthia Saglamer. Catherine Garcia. Nicole Cavarubias. Lauren Ann Budman. Stephanie Stone.
Say your last name.
Silva Getchen. Adrian Martin del Campo. Gabriel Garcias. Evan Arthur Pajoyan. Brianna Lynn Johnson. Hertime Vardoyan. Rachel Olivares. Blanca Esparza. Elizabeth Basin.
Say your last name.
Robert Woodrowski. Amber Barboza.
Say your last name.
Kimberly A. Vicente. Alexandria Palos. Maria Blasilda Cabanan. Jimmy Guevara. Victoria Stevenson. Lamberto Esparza.
Barbara Lopez. Cindy Tran. Chanel Song. Christina Wise. Carla Michaela Ong. Timothy Duran. Katie Juan Pedro. Daisy Andres. Beatrice Jaramillo. Vilma Santos. Emily Rose House. Olga Cassandra Serda. Stephanie Judith Salgado. Kevin Carbajal. Kimberly Zarcino. Paulette Alonsagai. Catherine Shabazian. Mariela Apodaca. Kathleen Hernandez. Alexandria Holcomb. Renee M. Cabanza Jr. Jonathan Flores. Mark Santiago. Laura Elena Macias. Yesenia Bamondi. Miriam Sorma. Tony Nim. Jessica Ortega. Esmeralda Soto. Paola Monzon. Yesenia Aldalpa. Logan Sheridan. Gary Kirola. Richard Hilton Esterwald. Tara Rostami. Arciza Farahani. Denise Dugan. Bella Iganova. Kayla Ringo. Susan Mahmood. Miriam Ahmadi. Jessica Ochoa. Deidre Campbell. Sasha Anid Setere. Janine Toting. Kimberly Franco. Cynthia Chevalier. Lindsay Zimnock. Alina Brutian. Jocelyn Huerta. And Ginny McCoy. Kelly Atanga. Monique Thompson. Stephanie Cerna Areola. Sydney Brushwood. Megan Grilly. Amber Marie Johnson. Cassandra Jackson. Gabriel Guzman. Jacqueline Martinez. Edith Guido. Angela Villacorta. Christopher Hernandez. Gladys Barrientos. Denise Gonzalez. Rodney Davila. Hadia Heidi Hakakian. Deborah Nirmad. Matthew Kim. Jeffrey Cruz. Chelsea Smith. Cambria Bradley. Kathy Vanessa Guevara. Stephanie Lerma. Ariana Verhaus. Jimena Guzman Martinez. Alina Gelisarian. Cynthia Ayala. Lisa Kakish. Gloria Ladzeppo. Kamani Alyssa Thomas. Stephanie Marquez. Susanna D. Martinez. Johnny Angel Belamontes. Maria Manukian. Luna Ueno. Cynthia Navarro. Monica Reyes. Hector Nolasco. Jeff Schultz. Cesar Augustos Pinto Ribeiro. Victor Magana. Maria de Jesus Cisneros.
Asfa. Eden Asfa. Sharon Tiomkin. Shane Steffes. Courtney Renee Kushter. Crystal Kusher. Haley Grief. Kyla Diekman. Brianna Monroy. Justin Bolding. Grady Clybourne. Letitia Santoyo. Priscilla Saldana. Megan Ashley Malone. Kayla Wilbowach. Jamie Victoriano. Natalie Santiago. Linda Dew. Natalie Hernandez.
Gabriel Maese.
Gabriel A. Maese. James Gonzalez.
Say your last name.
Alreza Saldigova.
Delay. Say your last name.
Ruta Waldemikhail. Doris Reyes.
Direct.
Emery Wheeler. Austin Blake Batchelor.
Delay. Direct.
Mercedes Frias. Taila Dayani. Megan Daniali.
Delay.
Cameron Olmedo. Alina Dabtien. Parandush Samari. Natalie Gladys Silva. Jessica Bina. Jasmine Rusbe. Derek Ramirez. Andrea Newman. Ronnie Morales. Jeanette Buenrustro. Sarah Lundquist. Cara Legali. Solmaz Kalegi. Mert Mulalik. Karen Urbina. Luz Maria Roque. Cesar Robles. Mariana Agazanian. Diana Terzian. Miguel Munguia. Mark Madrid. Caitlin Ann Corlett. Sydney Fugashie. Dan Mayo. Luis Andrew Ramirez. Michael Rodriguez. Ashley Shire. Abigail Megan Kerr. Jessica Marie Zamora. Carolina Perez. Bianca Flores. Nandeep Sagu. Ariel Doyle. Sarah Hathaway. Brace Bacon. Bradley Prue. Gavin Euland. Sean Curry. Cody Newman. Elizabeth Abbott Partridge. Darren Winograd. Shelby Silverman. Alana Ostrovietsky. Riga Chang. Nikki Sigarodi. Bita Nazar. Abraham Marjanian. Carolina Garcia. Hello. Vadnar Kovayan. Nicole Bakowski. Amanda Garcia. Maritza Alejandra Soriano. Claire Yahira Mazariegos. Alma Alejandro de la Cruz Delgado. Ilei Yahai Kashani. Betty Fusnan Nikovitz. Esther Nisani. Andrea Jasmine Sandoval. Vanessa Henry. Yamana Sadige. Victoria Hagopian. Hector Hernandez. Keenan Christopher Solomon. Oscar Castillo.
Joseph A. Shiesta. Alina Baranchian. Rosin Tetavosian. Lisa Martini. Edith E. Pianteri. Mariela Hernandez. Gladys Rachel Madrid. Kimberly Melendez. Jasmine Esparza. Vanessa Hernandez. Alma Jathan. Daisy Pimentel. Salida Vasquez. April Pacheco. Nancy Davila. Marcela Gonzalez. Jasmine Estrada. Jessica Beltran. Joshua Mendoza. Renee Matthew Bassa. Alexander Pavlovich. Rita Louise Williams. Laura Marie Henderson. Karen Cano Lopez. Elaine Robles. Jonathan Eduardo Molina. Edgar Guzman. Omar Vargas. Elizabeth Garola. Wanji Lee. Elizabeth Hamilton. Sarah Ortiz Aguilar. Allison Timorian. Bar Gabai, J. Allen, Brissel Villarde, Rachel Al Hassania, Elba Jocelyn Mendez Gomez, Era Jacqueline Arroyo, Saman Jagandiri, Nicole Rubin, Kayla Balba, Emily Rose Morris, Valentina Regner, Luis Rosales Esquivel, Christian Gill, Lanelle Fisher, Saul Rodriguez Jr., Troy Bao Hong, Wendy Lozano, Matthew Ayala, Yesenia Rangel, Diana Zapata, Laura Galvan, Stephanie Franco, Andrea Carolina Flores, Jose Villagomez, Kristen Lopez, Jessica Herrera, Lisa Morrison, Amanda Elena Gomez, Robert Chaidez, Jason Gapassan, Savada Yusufian, Jolie Soren, Brianne Zirkle, Mina Tour, Isabel Remigio, Sayana Maria Ibarra, Sandra Valenzuela, Nella Kassab, Navard Magurchian, Jessica Sarkis, Joy Flores Perez, Jessica Goranos, Today Davudian, Angela Salapa, Scott Van Winkle, Brooke Marie Arianas, Lorena Cabral, Valeria Jimenez, Audrey Cow, Mitchell Sanul, Serena Yagikian, Alexis Gill, Najitha Baskar, Juan Carlos Sandoval, Essen Bashi, Scott Smith, Andrea Garcia, Martha Noemi Lopez, Irie Williams, Melania Pelosian, Brenda Ruby Gonzalez, Jessica Natalie Villegas, Ariel Gashupian, Elizabeth Funes Laura, Brian Solaris, Michelle Silva, Storm Howe, Silvator Feliciano, Oscar Garcia, Luis Hernandez, Joshua Shepner, Mariah Murray, Shelby Brown, Isabel Zemschman, Gabriela Isabel Lopez, Desiree Nunez, Luna Lermonda, Mitchell Vince Sandoval,
Elena Williams,
Say your last name.
Nina Cirencione,
Direct.
Axel Santa Maria, Leslie Nicole Lugo Chadoja, Holly Chacon, Alyssa Rojas, Rocio Arambula, Kimberly Aguilar, Jacqueline Aguilar, Modesta Soto. Crystal Estrada. Alexis Fernanda Gonzalez. Jessica Del Rubi Vasquez. Cristina Gerges.
Say your last name.
Nina Muncheri.
Say your last name.
Hoda Alivar. Ramsel Martinez. Tina Jensen Kronkvist. Karen Garcia. Terry Hernandez. Chalet Hamilton. Jordan Court. Luis Ruiz.
Say your last name.
Janina Manasala. Natalie Ring.
Say your last name.
Celeste Anzo. Itzel Saldana. Jocelyn Cano. Brenda Moreno. Ana Benitez. Samantha Ortiz. Danica Baki. Molly Drader. Catalina Ruvalcaba. Rose Essence. Crystal Renee Diaz. Nicole Coe. Emily Aguirre. Stephanie Galindo. Jasmine Bautista Brown Tuzan. Sarah Rodriguez. Jose Estrada. Richard Gonzalez. Adriana Fernandez. Helen April Rodriguez. Angelica Lopez. Philip Michael Mendoza Gakuma. Arthur Karayan. Ashley Wasson. Melissa Ramirez. Jose Delgado. Brandon Baker. Ana Marie Cortez. Darmista La. Pasali Recalde. Jose Fernando Garcia. Jose Maximiliano Diaz. Carol Alcaraz Sanz. Adrian Bernhardt. Shelby Jones. Tasha Guerra. Brianna Loris. Nasim Barani. Ani Kirakosian. Kayla Lopez. Vanessa Sandoval. Susili Peralta. Rachel Radcliffe. Marab Ruiz. Daisy Cristina Romero. Jacqueline Esmeralda Nunez. Cesar Zelaya. David Park. Eurisi Lopez. Jenna Inchong. Alex Pabalate. Rosalina Rosales. Ashley Magana. Karina Avila. Yomira Solis. Jasmine Cortez. Mariela Mata. Leticia Payaño. Jordan Peterson. Kimberly Padilla. Tristan Renteria. Mark Renteria. Brad Bowman. Maria Andrea Casalnuevo. Anisa Marie Martinez. Eric Cazares. Stephanie Bibi Morales. Lillian J. Ramirez. Valandria Perkins. Anna Romero. Evelyn Ramirez. Yvonne Mota. Maribel Saldivar. Tyler Elias. Mike Mazowski. Natasha Velasco. Carla Ruiz. Marianne Fatilchian. Keisha Dean Carter. Marion Kenneth Mockendale. Mursad Hatami. Cody Romero. Jessica Robles. Valeria Quinones. Carolina Elizabeth Gonzalez. Jacqueline Arevalo. Marjan Kibadi. Cody Corso. Myra Lopez. Brianca Renfro. Blanca Membreno. Griselda Pimentel.
Min Doan. Max Nesser. Adriana Matesco. Sharon Alonso. Chabriana Kemp. Lydia Perez. Judith Vanessa Galvan. Brittany Monique Lancaster. Janelle Mascardo. Ani Mazmarian. Aliona Avakian.
We say the word doctor in front of it? Yeah. All of them? No, not on the front. Just by name. Just call them by name.
Let's go.
Now reading the names for Doctorate in Educational Leadership. Stacy Marie Williamson.
Let's use your name. Dr. Lisa.
Make that Dr. Stacy Marie Williamson. Dr. Lisa Dax Ornalis. Dr. Stacy Chen. Dr. Maria Arenzia. Dr. Sahar Al-Banai. Dr. Soraya Fala. Dr. Felicia Sisan Conlon. Dr. Seema Navid. Dr. Guadalupe Morales Tomayan. Dr. David Santa Maria. With the Michael D. Eisner College of Education, we're now reading the names for the Department of Deaf Studies. Hannah Leff. David Banda. Chelsea Harper. Yvonne Pauline Almiana Ramirez. Laura Corcoran. Rarity Laimra Lemons. Kirsten Diane Beckler. Angeles Camacho. Gilberto Padilla. Armanda Castro Osanya. Tiffany Say. Anastasia Madera. Anna Suh. Jessica Harris. Gabriela Velasquez. Jordan Alexandria Mason.
Congratulations. This way.
Taylor Fisher. Trisha Vasquez. Carolee Baligier. Karina Lopez. Lauren Franco. Elizabeth Simmons. Ashley Wagner. Michael Macleden. Alessandra Lucy. Valerie Pugh. Juan Ramos. Kendra Walcott. Marley Rose Klein. Derek Ray Gonzalez.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Emily Renee Shimke.
Congratulations.
Kateri McGuire.
Congratulations.
Eugenio A. Moreno del Real.
Congratulations.
Deanna Placencia.
Congratulations.
Taylor Smith.
Congratulations.
Brooke Feldman. Casey Loden. Kane Tokiyama.
Congratulations.
Dalen Young. Jennifer Monroy. Valpert Castro. Caitlin McIntosh. Giovanna Miranda. Nereida Bernal. Annie Weiss. Alexandra Diodone Olivian. Jaleesa Harrington. Daquisha Bowen. Jessica Connors. Kendall Fitchett. Gisela Guerra. Maricela Aparcio. Jocelyn Aldama. Mireya Pina. Megan Hunt. Katrina Whaley. Marissa Perzak. Alexis Angela Amaya. Jacqueline Aquino. Ansor Pena. Morea Martinez. Karen Hernandez. Christine Nation. Kelsey Perez. Jacqueline Pino. Jessica Wells. Craig Charles Hall. Emily Elaine Hughes. Olivia Johnson. Emmy Castellanos. Catalina Saldivar. Cindy Sanchez. Gage Purdy. Claudia Gonzalez. Angela Islas. Lizeth Portillo. Angelica Trejo. Christina Fortugno. Erica Garcia. Jonathan Minchaka. Sabrina Josefina Selly. Danielle Canas. Tracy Ramirez. Sierra Velasquez. Jasmine Riggins. Aaliyah Turner. Jessica Fosno. Monique Robles. Evelyn Camille Peck. Elizabeth Suzuki. Crystal Postal. Tessa Barrett. Kayla Daunt. Margaret Byrne. Elza Jasmine Kantamagik Kapan. Faith Escher. Gunnar James Fredrickson. Claudia Matias. Victoria Bisheri. Julie V. Macarella. Cedric Ainsworth Jr. Sierra Giononi. Alvin Licari. Renee Machado. Rachel Weaver. Kayla Lindstead. Amanda Wright. Yesenia Seda Eriguyan. Tatiana Rosado. Catherine Martinez. Stacy Aguila. Ana Patricia Garcia. Salvador Pachiquet. Carlos Rodriguez. Juan Garcia. Joma Alameria. Nancy Mendoza. Ashley Furman. Now reading the names for the Department of Educational Psychology and Counseling. Sidra Bahadar, Zachary Lotane, Sonia Livingston, Holly Farias, Raquel Horowitz, Akadina Amrikaz, Lillian Luna, Celeste Guevara, Stephanie Suarez, Jose Sandoval, Nabil Montez, Laura Fabiola Jose, Imelda Madrigal Lara, Lilith Amirian, Mariana Karpova, Alicia York, Hala Maida, Emma Jagel, Matthew Steffen, Jordan Elizabeth Dale Ireland, Serena Marquez, Tali Rodriguez Costa, Liliana Berman, Elizabeth Saldival, Samia Chasm, Claudia Corral, Vana Kachatourian. And now reading the names for the Department of Elementary Education. Jennifer Rivera, Erica Diego Castaneda, Michelle Guerrero, and now reading the names for the Department of Secondary Education. Marisol Garcia Jimenez, Rosalinda Arivalo, Allison Jarkowski, Maria Teresa Medina, Luis Kayan Kim, Alicia M. Ruvakalba, Fadi Beirudi, Bradley Renelis, Jeremy Raymond Quintero, Rihanna Shea Mowry, Duncan Scrimger, Sam Robert Scruggs, Carrie Rosella Kennedy, Allison Gallagher, Avish Susantade. Now reading the names for the Department of Special Education. Paige Brewer, Amanda Schramling, Lorez Alexandria Patton, Diana Salazar.
Okay, let's read them through. Well, let's bring him through.
Adrian Real.
Okay, let's go. Congratulations.
Sandra Beltran. Luz Villaneda. Adriana Cabrera.
How do we sound? Okay, just come forward. Right here?
David Black.
Congratulations.
Lisa Marie Almanza.
Congratulations.
Elizabeth Chavez.
Congratulations.
Nareda Lopez. Jessica Hom. Sarah Shava.
Congratulations.
Juan Gonzalez. Karine de Benedict Felix. Julie Dietz. Karen Ananos. Margaret Acosta.
Congratulations.
Educational Leadership and Policy Studies graduates, Gloria G. Lopez, Ernestes N. Castro, Jen Shaughnessy, Kim O'Brien, Consuela Padilla Gonzalez, Alicia Lurie, Erica Reyes, Jessica Rubalcaba, Amanda McMurray, Lizette Campos, Edward Alberto Rivas. Now reading the names from the Department of Psychology. Marisol Wright, Anthony Strom, Brianna Denise Esquivel, Carmen Ramos, Dondre Youngblood, Moro Montano, Patrick Amboa, Isabel Lopez, Jasmine Mock, Catherine Stewart, Abby Patrice DeCecco, Bianca Flores, Dana Renee Kurt, Chen Gonen, Alexis Villegas, Joy Nitro, Velia Hernandez, Samara Netherly, Emily Chicarger, Priga Rantane, Jeanette Espinoza, JC Cueto, Dennis Swaraya, Jimmy Vasquez, Mario Alonso Valiente, Carla Garcia, Edith Aurora Morenas, Stacy Ruano, Melanie Perez, Javier Mercado, Claudelian David, Deborah Hua, Audra Carlos, Samantha Harrand, Jessica Ariola, Shayla Mendoza, Victoria Diego Neal, Lizeth Avalos, Edward Tan, Nico Glover, Carlos Enrique Velasquez, Adrian Goitan, Carlos Lopez, Jeremiah Buenrostro, April Esakanian, Jocelyn Crystal Tapia, Veronica Renee Gonzalez, Priscilla Tatian Cajas, Heidi Vallejo, Anita Chavez, Haley Rudas, Eduardo Quintanilla, Jesus Rodriguez, Tara Gordon, Eric Santiago, Kyrie Oliver, Hanchi Shu, Anderson Jinting Ye, Estanslo Navio, Jeffrey Roche, Oscar Melado, Amber Bear, Lauren Ellis, Stephanie Guest, Dahlia Yablian, Nika Natasha Lau, Danielle Manzano, Elisa Benitez, Jessica Paragas, Amy Hawk, Sebastian Garcia, Uriel Gonzalez, Jesus Contreras, Juliana Cervantes, Vanessa Renteria, Cynthia Santiago, Sarah Sasunis, Sarah Riddle, Hannah Sandler, Samar Abdelmajid. Karina Guillen. Zachary Latade. Dylan Bloom Fernandez. Elizabeth Tang. Tatiana Stanton. Jennifer Harris. Tara Costa. Riley Mayer. Molly Gosselin. Myra Torres. Megan Lim Mitra. Eric Mondragon. Emerson Eli Simon. Taylor Shagagi. Helen Habday. Paula Rubin Mullen. Landon Cruz. Zachary Fishman. Amanda Segovia. Sam Amigi. Jennifer Villalobos. Noemi Perez. Perla Alfaro. Cindy Serrano. Anahid Bakjian. Hira Hernandez. Natalie Patino. Hasmik Asatrian. Megri Abramia. Anahit Gregorian. Margarita Hakopian. Garcia Ayarian. Ashley Akopian. Lily Hambartsumyan. Diana Sargisian. Nareen Kurgarian. Aya Al-Mukhtar. Cindy Jimenez Vargas. Lawrence Hernandez. Sandy Hernandez. Daisy Garcia. Claudia Mejia Fuentes.
Yesenia Rodriguez. Clarissa Soltero. Candy Macias. Vera Monet Schroeder. Denise Rachel Barcera. Genesis Cruz. Andrea Rodriguez. Lorena Cervantes. Elizabeth Bergdorf. Monique Pratt. Hector Guerra. Diana Aquino. Teresa Jimenez. Vanessa De La Rosa. Chelsea Swafford. Vanessa Fumbarg. Shamila Khan Castaneda. Isela Mendez. Elizabeth Mercado. Ruji Choto. Jacqueline Bushnack. Yvette Melendez. Tahiti Maldonado. Kelsey Walsh. Chelsea Amber Scott. Sarah Lopez. Tanya Sanchez. Cassandra Novoa. Graciela Piangrelli. Danielle Murillo. Sonia Taharutinian. Austin Flores. Laura Grace Rockwood. Sabina Postal. John Nice Moore. Jennifer Mendoza. Karina Habits. Amber Lee Buckley. Caitlin Chenault. Jessica Rothenzel. Emily Fuller. Anthony Garcia. Carlos Moreno. Kevin Contreras. Christopher Lynn. Natalie Moran.
Congratulations.
Melania Tomashian.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
Eric Michael Ashley. Carlos Covera. Kia Lehovalani Kava Aola. George Rodriguez. Matali Banik. Luis Castillo. Eric Estrada. Guadalupe Soto. Rogine Estefani. Taylor Rose. Mene Meadow Shavakian. Adela Garabecki. Vanessa Ochoa. Rashad Beal. Sylvia Garcia. Jocelyn Gonzalez. Jocelyn Hernandez. Asma Imadi. Stacy Kuski. Heba Nader. Dominan Germa. Paola Contreras. Joseph Serda. Adriana Belmontes. Paola Cervantes. Colin Smith. Paula Neharai. Jessica D. Dominicio. Tajane Baker. Vanessa Ramos. Brianna Garcia. Ana Ramos. Raul Estrada. Heidi Saley. Sonia Morales Coriel. Christian Moran. Jocelyn Hernandez. Erevik Kalatian. Alexander O'Callahan. Surly Babakanlu. Wee Jan. Angel Sabayan. Sarah Rose Sellinger. Hannah Feldman. Karam Ibrahim. Allison Insuralde. Linda Bastian. Liana Kachatorian. Soraya Maria Rivera. Adana Gazarian. Natalie Daving. Andrea Yaniz. Audrey Melanie Berdizia. Adriana Alvarez. Jason Hidalgo Ray. Tomik Hakopian. Albert Hong. Gerson Emery Politz. Heidi Perez. Alexa Espinosa. Corinne Garagos. Marielle Scola. Oscar Muniz. Martha Pena Garcia. Tamara Jenking. Zulema Madrigal. Betty Torres. Betsy Sazo. Elizabeth Ortiz. Kristen Garcia. Jessica Yoda Alvarez. Anthony Sanchez Garcia. Raquel Aldana. Jessica Rosales. Diana Sanchez. Kevin Melendez. Angel Quintanilla. Monica Gonzalez. Alexandra Artiega. Omar Contreras. Pedro Ramirez. David Min. Roman Gregorian. Serene Sarar Arashian. Selena Brianna Castrillon. Emily Yusel Jiang. C. Sion O. Starlene Early. Tyler Smith. Eduardo Elbo Ochoa. Kayvon Beltran. Shaka Darakshian. Brian Zakawaya. Adrian Villafort, Maria Teresa Dionisio, Lance Michael Alonso Dadayan, Almarosa Primero, Jake O, Coleman Chiang, Kelly Samantha Gonzalez, Urica Del Rosario, Christian Furman, Jessica Cervantes, Jocelyn Sanchez, Georgette Rubio, Clevia Rivero, Daniela Lepe, Daniela Haltenhoff, Paul Martinez, Cesar Arihata, Adriana Alejandra Flores, Noema Tungui.
Will all of the baccalaureate degree recipients please rise? In academic tradition, the student who has not yet earned a degree wears the tassel to the right of the mortarboard. When the degree is conferred, the scholar moves the tassel to the left and joins a select company of highly educated men and women. In recognition of your renewed status, will all recipients of the baccalaureate degree move the tassel to your left? I welcome you into the alumni family of California State University, Northridge. Mr. Brent Valens will now officially welcome you into the California State University Northridge Alumni Association.
On behalf of the CSUN Alumni Association and more than 340,000 Matadors, it's my pleasure to be the first to officially welcome you as alumni of this great university. Now, each of you may add the title of alumnus or alumna to your name, and we are very honored to join with you and celebrate your achievement. Today marks the beginning of an enduring relationship with CSUN. We encourage you to stay connected as you realize your dreams and aspirations. In fact, you'll find that many Matadors out there, like myself, are ready and willing to help you realize your potential and future successes. And in turn, someday, we hope that you will aid the next generation to follow in your path. Congratulations and welcome as a part of the CSUN alumni family. We're all very proud of you.
You may be seated. I know. Now all you have to do is go out into the world, accomplish great things, and come back and tell us about them so we can brag about you. But do help the students who come after you understand and appreciate the importance that they can make in the world. To officially close this ceremony, I ask that all of our students, faculty, and CSUN alumni rise for our university alma mater, Hail to the Matadors, under the musical direction of Professor Michael Mull, the Jazz A Band, and sung by Christy Yoga. The words are at the back of your commencement program should you need them. After the alma mater has concluded, please remain at your seats until the platform party and the faculty have recessed. We ask that all parents and guests please remain seated until the end of the recessional. Again, thank you very much. Congratulations. And once a Matador, Always a matador. Thank you.